Good afternoon. We are live captioning our meeting through WebEx. Please look in the chat window of our WebEx meeting where you will find a link. Please click on that link to open a web page with the live captioning. At this time, I call to order the agenda review meeting of the Maricopa County Community College District Governing Board of August 11th, 2026. Today, we will review the agenda for the August 25th, 2026 board meeting. Let the record reflect that it is 4:34. For the record, I will call a roll of the board members. Student Advisory Representative Kelly Suka. Not present. Board members, Kelly Butler.
Present.
Susan Bittersmith.
Here.
Donna Davis.
Present.
Tom Narini.
Present.
Jacqueline Smith.
Present.
Marie Sullivan.
Here.
And I am here as well, Linda Thorpe. I would also like to welcome Chancellor Bloomberg to his first agenda review meeting.
Dr. Thor, thank you.
It's good to have you. We'll now review the agenda for August 25th. We will begin at 6:30 with our regular cadence of a student life report from Mesa Community College, followed by reports from the constituent groups, Faculty Executive Council, Adjunct Faculty Group, staff representation, awards and recognition. We will then have the Chancellor's report, which will include a presentation from the Maricopa Corporate College. Then citizens interim, and then we're at the consent agenda. As has become our practice, I will group similar items together for discussion. First, we'll have the minutes of the June 23rd, 2026 public hearing and regular board meeting. Any questions or comments about the minutes? Hearing none, we'll take up items 3 through 8, which are all emeritus distinction for faculty members. Any comments or questions? We'll then do items 9 through 13, which are all grants. Any comments or questions?
Dr. Thor?
Yes, Dr. Narini.
I have a question on item 12.
Please proceed.
So I think it's great. I mean, that we're looking to get some credit for prior learning for the high schools. And I think it's wonderful and it's much needed. But what I'm looking for is, what is the goal of this? Are we looking to have like a test for these? Or how do the students, what are we looking to have make available to the students so they can get these credits?
Dr. Bloomberg, who would you like to answer that question?
Dr. Thor, thank you. I think that probably on this question, Dr. Britt is probably the best equipped to respond to the question from Trustee Tom Narini.
Thank you, Dr. Britt.
Hi, Dr. Narini. Let me follow up with our submitter on this and send you an email to you and Dr. Thor for distribution to the full board on the specifics on that. That way I can answer that thoroughly, if that is okay. I should be able to have that to you by tomorrow. Would that be acceptable?
That would be great. I have a couple follow-ups too that you might want to include in that. If I could.
Absolutely. Would you like for me to make note of those here, or would you prefer to send those in an email? Either way is fine with me.
Yeah, I'll just make note here.
Okay.
So do we already have credit for prior learning for other CTE type courses, like, you know, for on the job, people who've gotten on the job experience? Do we already have some of those in place?
We do in some spaces, Dr. Narini, but I can get you more specifics and details on where that exists.
Okay. And then how is this going to impact our dual enrollment classes? by my count, we have about 70 sections of applied and technical courses that we're currently offering through dual enrollment. So how will those be affected? I guess that's another part of the question.
Okay. And that would apply no differently than it would if it were a credit course offered on the campus. It would extend in the same manner.
Okay. And along those lines, this is just kind of an aside. I'm just wondering where we are with the college and high school committee, and because I'm sure that they're going to be involved with some of this as well.
Sure. We're in the implementation phase of the college high school re-envisioning work. We have our recommendations, and we're moving to seat the implementation task force. And so we are in the process of working with our student affairs shared governance group, and we are beginning to seat the implementation group to standardize the processes around that work.
And will we, I guess this is a question for Dr. Bloomberg or Dr. Thor, are we going to have a report on that at some point?
Dr. Marie, we can certainly have a report on that. That's not an issue. I'd also yield to Dr. Thor as well, but I think that is certainly something reasonable we can do.
Perfect.
Yes,
Thank you so much.
I think that's appropriate. Let's plan for that, please.
Will
Okay,
do. Thank you, Dr. Thor.
That's all I have.
Do any other board members have questions on items 10 through 13? 9 through 13. Hearing none, we'll now take items 14 through 17, which are all intergovernmental agreements. Any questions or comments?
I have one question. On
Yes,
item
Dr.
15.
Narini.
So
Please.
the positions, we have 10 vacant positions. So when we write this, or when we sign in for this agreement, nobody is currently losing their job with this agreement. Is that what I read, or how I read that?
Dr. Bloomberg, who would you like to answer that question?
Dr. Thor, thank you. I would call on our Chief Operating Officer, Leanne Bone, to answer that question. I have been briefed on this as well, but Leanne, why don't you explain any questions that Dr. Narini may have insofar as how we're going to move forward with this agreement and what comprises the actions moving forward.
Thank you, Dr. Bloomberg. Happy to respond to that question. And Dr. Narini, thank you for your interest in this item. So you are right, of our 10 staffed positions, so those are the individual contributors. None of those are filled currently. We do have a number of part-time workers filling in those gaps. Of the 3 existing manager and supervisory positions, we will be looking at those positions over the course of time. This will not be just a simple switch over. This IGA and moving the service over to the city of Tolleson will occur over the course of several months. So I think it's premature today to talk about any kind of a reduction in force, not knowing what that work team will look like when we are ready to fully transition over to the city of Tolleson.
Thank you. I just wanted to be sure that we make any accommodations we can for any current staff that this might be displacing. So thank you for that.
Thank you, sir.
Dr.
Okay.
Thor, it's Donna. I have a
Yes.
question as well
It's Ms.
about
Davis.
the same thing. I was wondering if we approached any other, I'm thrilled that it's coming to Tolleson. It's on my side of town, but did we approach any other police operations with this same kind of a contract, or was the city of Tolleson the only one that we asked about this? I was just curious.
That's a great question, Ms. Davis. Thank you. The answer is yes. And if you want a list of those, I don't have those off the top of my head, but I believe Chief Barfus did speak with Arizona State University's police force, City of Phoenix as well. The unique position that the city of Tolleson is that they have a relatively new radio and dispatch center, and they purposely overbuilt it specifically so they could contract out. And so they're currently contracting out with, I believe, 2 other smaller jurisdictions. So they already have the kind of muscle memory in place to operate these contracts. They're just kind of uniquely positioned because of they overbuilt most other jurisdictions. This is kind of the last thing in law enforcement that they invest money in. And so they don't have the capacity, the physical space or the staffing capacity to take on an additional jurisdiction. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. That makes a lot of
welcome.
sense. Thank you very much.
That doesn't prompt a question from me. However, did we check with those other jurisdictions to make sure that they're satisfied with the service that they're getting?
Dr. Thor, I will confirm that with Chief Barfus, unless, Chief, if you are on and can answer that question, that would be great. But if otherwise, I will certainly circle back on that.
I am on. Thank you for the invitation. Everybody. Yes, El Mirage City's chief and I have had lengthy discussions and they are very satisfied with their services to the Chelsea Dispatch.
Very good, thank you. Any other questions? Okay, we'll now take up items 18 through 23. These are all purchase orders. Any comments or questions? Okay, item 24, the initiation of radiologic technology program expansion project for 3 Maricopa colleges. Any comments or questions? Items 25 through 28, these are all contracts. Any comments or questions? Okay, items 29 and 30, a lease agreement and the Hug Clinic quality management report. Any comments or questions? Items 31 and 32, it is my understanding that the administration wishes to withdraw these 2 items. Is that correct, Dr. Bloomberg?
Dr. Thor, that is correct. Thank you.
Thank you. Items 33 through 38 all address the charter schools. Any comments or questions?
Dr. Thor, this is Ms. Sullivan.
Yes, Ms. Sullivan.
I don't mean to go backwards, but I am, if I could, take us backwards. Is there anything to update us on why 31 and 32 are being removed, or should I pretend I didn't ask that question?
Dr. Bloomberg, would you like to comment?
Dr. Thor, I will. Thank you. Ms. Sullivan, thank you for the question. So essentially the items are being tabled at this time just so we can review both of those mission statements for Gateway and South Mountain. We're taking a look, just so the rest of the board is aware, at the Higher Learning Commission's criterion for accreditation, just to make sure that the mission statements meet the definition of quote unquote a distinctive mission for each institution. So it's just a review of both of those statements in accordance with the HLC criterion for accreditation.
Thank you for that. And then we'll be kept apprised of the answer to that question.
Yes, Ms. Sullivan, these would be coming back to the board. In fact, may come back to the board at our regularly scheduled meeting on the 25th, but these are not things that are permanently going away from governing board approval, just to check before we have it on the official agenda.
No, I appreciate that, but if the overarching question is relatable or relational to HLC, I'd love to know their answer as well.
Sure. Happy to make sure that you are made aware of that answer too. I think I can probably fill that in now, and that is just in the criterion number 1 for mission statements that the Higher Learning Commission typically has institutions derive mission statements that are distinctive. So that way, when teams come to review the campuses and their activities, part of that review includes the adherence of whatever HLC member institution to their mission statement. So essentially just ensuring that the mission statement is distinctive in nature, if that makes sense.
Yes, I'm acquainted with a lot of HLC, but if this is a peculiar question that we're asking, not peculiar as in odd. I just would like to know how they respond to that more specifically as it relates to this item. So thank
Understood.
you. So I'll look forward to that answer. Thank you.
Okay, our last item is a new addition, a contract to Schmidt Construction for Mesa Community College. Any comments or questions? Okay, we have no non-consent action items. We're now at first read and information items. We'll take E 1 through 5. These are all new board policies under the new policy framework. Any comments or questions? Okay, hearing none. Item 6 is employment and separations from May 17th to July 17th. Any comments or questions? Okay, for monitoring reports, we only have the burn report. We'll then move to community linkage for board members to review current events. The establishment of the next meeting dates and times. We will have agenda review on September the 8th at 4:30 via WebEx. Regular board meeting September 22nd at 6:30 at the conference center at Rio Salado. That concludes our agenda review. Let the record reflect that the board has adjourned this meeting at 4:50. Thanks, everyone.
Dr.
Yes.
Thor?
Yes,
This is again, Ms. Sullivan. Before we formally adjourn, I wondered if you could afford me the opportunity for a comment.
of course. Please.
Thank you. I wanted to acknowledge the tragic news that percolated through the district and social media this weekend. And with that, I'm referring to the passing of Dr. Kelly Green, Dean of Academics at Gateway Community College, due to a horrible car accident. So on behalf of the board, if I may, I'd like to offer our condolences first to her family, wishing her daughter certainly a recovery to good health, but offering condolences to her professional family and friends, particularly the Gateway community, Dr. Diaz, the faculty with whom I knew she worked with over her 10 years, and other teams and individuals with whom she worked, and of course the students she impacted every day. She began her career 10 years with us, I believe it is, at Gateway, first as teacher, then faculty senate pres, program director, before she became dean of academics. But my knowledge of her and everything else is she had a tremendous impact and leaves a great legacy with the students she touched. So again, our condolences out to our community, and thank you, Dr. Forth, for offering me that opportunity to acknowledge the event.
Well, thank you, Ms. Sullivan. And again, all members of the board offer their condolences to the family and the friends. So that concludes our agenda review meeting. Let the record reflect that the board has adjourned the meeting at 4:52. Thank you, everyone, for your time tonight. Have a good evening.